we are back by unpopular demand. With a, I don't know, a sort of haul. You probably see from the thumbnail what it is, but we will fill in the context of how we acquired.
Yeah, it's more how we came about them as opposed to, well, it's what they are as well, I guess.
Items.
Okay, so set up the scene.
We were selling at a boot sale, which we don't do. I don't really like selling at boot sales, nor do I like, you know, I just don't like doing it.
No, you're not a fan.
I don't like people talking to me. I don't like getting things out. And
I actually really enjoy it, and you hate when I want to do them, but every now and then it's good just to kind of be in a boot sale early.
Yeah.
You know?
To be honest, it didn't really matter in this one because you were allowed to go in whenever you want. But I mean, if you were going to one that has certain setup times, it's well worth actually paying £7. Put a car, put some stuff out, sell some stuff, make some money, and have a little wander around.
The only time that's really bad is there are a few people in our area which actually do that and don't sell at all. They literally park a car, don't even get a table out, and just go around before anyone else. I think that's rude. Yeah. If you're watching and you know who you are,
that sucks.
You're terrible.
Sucks. Anyway, regardless, took a break, needed to use the ladies' room, and I crossed over some lanes and I saw a hat.
I've been selling for like 2-3 hours at this point.
2-3 hours. It was about 10 o'clock when we started at 6.
Probably
right?
longer then.
And I saw a hat, and I know from being told all the bloody time that
I like hats.
Leather hats from like a certain era are pretty cool and like people like them. We do pick up higher end vintage, and we like a t-shirt, and we like a single stitch.
Yeah.
But
that's not something we talk about on the channel much, is it really?
We don't really delve into like what I call true vintage, which is, you know, proper
like 1920s.
Vintage. Yeah.
Almost antique.
Well, yeah, and like
40s,
ladies
50s,
wear
60s,
and stuff.
yeah.
Unless it's branded, we don't really delve into it. And in terms of vintage, we like a bit of like pop culture. And...
I think popular culture. You mean by that, don't you? Like what? Yeah.
Pop culture.
I think we like pop music, but pop culture. Yeah, it's me being me.
Like nostalgic items and stuff.
Yeah,
like people would pick up games, we like to pick up nostalgic clothing.
Yeah, that's weird, you know. I never thought about it like that, but people do that for the nostalgia. Yeah, it's true. I never thought about that. But
anyway,
go on.
Saw this hat. It was sat on this guy's chair. I don't like asking. If you ever see me at a boot sale, I won't ask how much things are. I don't haggle. I don't do anything. So I ran back, told Austin about said hat. Said, leave the stall, go look at the hat. This is the hat.
Orlando Magic, full leather, NBA.
Oh, it's hay fever season. I'm like dying.
Anyway, better than the wind the other day.
I thought Austin was going to explain it, but he's just going to.
No, you carry on. I'm going to check the label.
No,
go on.
I don't. You found it.
Okay, so this is genuine leather, made in the USA. Basically, these hats were really popular early 90s, late 80s. Across the board, they kind of came into sports with this kind of thing afterwards. But originally, you'd find like car brands and anything of kind of pop culture, like back in the era where hip hop or rappers would wear chains, but with like Mercedes or BMW logos on, which was kind of the blingy kind of start of the bling era. Leather hats were very in. We've sold actually a couple of BMW, a couple of Mercedes, that kind of style of hat in leather. The sports hats, which obviously were really popular early 90s, Jordan, Shaq, that kind of era, 92, maybe a little bit before, maybe a little bit onwards from that. These were really popular. They always made really, really good quality. Some were licensed, some weren't. To be fair, it doesn't really matter. As long as they are for proper leather and they are majority made in USA, the price is good. This would have retailed then for around about between £60 and $100, and we'd hope to get around about that for this. I say hope, I will. And that's not me being a smart ass, it's just how much they go for.
Yeah.
Like the BMWs and
but it was
Mercedes.
£10.
This was £10. It's not perfect condition, but it will sell for good money. But the story goes...
No, I wasn't there, Austin. The story goes that he also has some t-shirts that are hanging, and
he had a t-shirt hanging, yeah.
And they were see, I wasn't there, so I don't know what t-shirts.
Okay, well I'll explain. I thought you were going to kind of continue this, but you know the story. Anyway, they had this t-shirt hanging, which I thought was a really cool print. I didn't know anything about initially. It's single stitch, which once again, from most of you guys, if you don't know,
close-ups of these, like in studio light, so you can see, and we'll point out what to look for and boring.
And also sometimes some t-shirts are single stitch collars, but this is the hem, and it's a double stitch hem. So some are single stitch around, some just the what do you call these?
Arms.
Armhole. What do you call them? Sleeves. But I just thought it was a really cool print. It was from.
Go back, sir. There you go.
I believe we've done a little bit of research, but haven't gone into it crazy. I believe it was a singer or a band at the time. Don't know if he's
I don't want to be like, what's the word? 'Cause I can't say it.
ignorant.
I don't want to be ignorant to the band or whoever it is, but obviously
We don't know everything about everything.
There are some others maybe that we know a bit more about.
Yeah.
But this isn't my music genre.
The other thing is, like, I could have googled this before we came on camera and be like, oh, I know this guy, like, just to be smart. That's not the point of these videos.
And I
Probably
know
more than
that
you did
he's
before.
a singer now, but I saw.
You know, I only guessed it was even a singer, and that was a total guess from the fact it's in Docklands Arena, blah blah blah. Now, what I was going to say was I saw that and I said, oh, how much for that as well? Because that's cool. He said a couple pounds. He said, actually, I've got a couple band t-shirts if you're interested. And I was like, well, when he first told me about this, he said, oh, I saw those live, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, cool, okay, fair enough. And he told me that he picked that up in New York, which I don't know if I mentioned or not. So I was thinking, okay, when people say band t-shirts, usually you find kind of your...
Oh, they weren't out. They were in a plastic bag in his car.
I think he had, apart from that, it was a couple like, I don't know, just
like
zip-up jumpers and stuff. Yeah, just general stuff. So
should we do it in order of coolness, or order of like less cool to coolest?
Well, let's start with that. Shall you pop that one in it?
Okay, yeah. Well, that's a cool but uncool.
So this was just like, he said he was in the band t-shirt. It wasn't. He travelled a lot, and I think he lived in the Philippines now.
Yeah, Thailand maybe actually.
One of the two, and that sounds really rude to say that, but I can't remember exactly.
No.
He might say he travelled through both.
No, it was Vietnam.
Yeah, you're right. Single stitch again. It just is a Hong Kong touristy t-shirt, which is really cool.
It's old.
Good colours. It's old. The print's been really well washed. But that was the first t-shirt. So I said, okay, well, fair enough. Carried on looking.
Let's start with, oh god, they're all so cool. Start with this one. It's really boring.
Cool.
And then that one.
So then
I say boring very loosely.
we came to this one, UFO. This is
1983.
Originally I thought it was kind of one of those t-shirts you see in like HMV or kind of Urban Outfitters now, which they kind of weather.
Just because the print's nice, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Well, obviously not. Firstly, a single stitch, but secondly, the wash tag. It's a sportswear wash tag, but it's made in the USA, and
this
it's
is a
also
size medium, and it is like a size like extra small.
Single stitch hem. Yeah, this is tiny. Like, I mean, I don't know if my body references like anything to anyone.
Really small.
But like,
it's probably if you were talking women's, it's probably a size 8.
The chap who wore them was like, he was smaller than me, but he wasn't a lot smaller than me, and I feel like he was, without being rude, he was a lot slimmer then.
No, but in the 80s, that was the cool thing to do.
Like, just tight as
a little low waist jean and a biker jacket, or
exactly
whatever,
that,
and like a little bit. Men used to have a little bit of stomach showing. It used to be
vibe. What a vibe! Okay, so there's that one, which after doing some research is worth around.
Oh no! Well, yeah, we already did that yet. Are we gonna do that yet? Well, we paid. Technically, it works out that we paid £3.75 a t-shirt. £3.75.
So it's for £3.75, and that's an original 1983. It's the European tour as well. Just to let you know, sometimes on band t-shirts, especially if you get old ones, only if you get old ones, to be honest, where they're based and where they're from, because obviously this had been merch they brought over. It was made in the US, but it was for the European tour. So those things, like a European tour as opposed to a world tour, for example, but can make it either rarer or less rare or whatever, depending on how big the crowd was.
Yeah, so this is probably the least exciting one in terms of value.
Yeah.
And once again, UFO really isn't my scene. But that sits on eBay between 100 and 150.
Indeed.
Do you know what? There's a much bigger market in the US for band t-shirts, and the majority of our band t-shirts we sell to the US. We had a Smith's one. We were talking to.
I think we've said about that before, haven't we?
We had a Smith's one which we bought for £3, sold for $500 to the States. So we do expect the majority of these to go to the States to collectors. Hence why we look at the eBay comps, but we also look at the American market mainly. If you look at other resellers, for example, such as Rally Roots, even the one that got banned from eBay, what's his name, Daily Refinement, he's selling vintage t-shirts at the moment.
I would also say, once again, like I've been saying this in a lot of videos recently, and I think it's annoying some people, but hey, well, you can't please everyone. Don't go on just like one comp or what eBay has or what a specific seller sold it once for. Because, for example, if I sell, say, the UFO shirt, now, I honestly, once again, my naivety when it comes to UFO as a band is like, I know nothing, right? So based on the fact that, say, one of the band members, they might all be dead. I don't know if they are or not. I hope they're not. I don't know. I can't comment. I just don't know, okay? But based on the fact that if this was sold a year ago, and say, for example, they were touring and something terrible happened and they're no longer around, the price goes massively up. So what I'm trying to get at, without being harsh to the members of the band,
the market's always moving.
So comps are literally useless unless you check today at this time like for like Queen memorabilia this week, not Queen as in the band, but the Queen. In 2 weeks' time, no one cares.
No.
Or by the Jubilee. That's what I'm trying to say. So please come for yourself.
Okay, next one. We all know who this is. Mr. Sting. My dad went to see him in the Netherlands.
This is a 1997, I believe.
1997. 1987. 1987.
My bad. Yes, it is.
Like nothing like the Sun Sting tour T-shirt. Dated. We will go closer up into these. This is what I would say. We'll go closer and have a look at the
I don't know if you can see that.
And whatever.
1987. Anyway, once again, all these, every single one are single stitch. Some are single hem. Most of them are single hem as well. And why I say that in listings, there's things to add. The label is, I think it's a Screen Stars. Yes, it is. Vintage Screen Stars XL.
Vintage. It's not the be all and end all of authenticating vintage. Just like anything I give you an authentication designer.
Also, I don't know if you can see there, it says made in the US once again. So nothing on the back with that one.
This is another £3.75. This is another 100 to 150.
That's a bigger size. Once again, like band tees are better in bigger sizes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter a huge amount if it's just a real collection piece, but the bigger the better.
It's getting cool now.
Right. Okay.
I think
so too. I'll be as quick as I can, but I just love them, so it is what it is.
This is the Blue Oyster Cult, which is obviously
World Tour.
Sick.
Once again,
stitch, slight fading. Don't let it put you off. Don't let marking put you off. Don't let holes put you off.
Do you know what? I've sold Harley Davidson t-shirts before, which are single stitch with holes in, more than I've sold single stitch Harley Davidson t-shirts, which are like dead stock. So, like, some people love the wear. Some of these won't be even legible on the camera, but. All the dates. You said you do that. Up. Sorry, my bad.
I'm not going to say it again.
She won't say it again, folks. And we're going to move on quickly. That's that one, okay?
Yep. Next up is...
Oh, what was the comp on that?
200.
Right, this one...
75p.
This one, it's more of like... You might know about it worldwide, but it's definitely more of a UK thing. So, bad news. The back, I won't say it, but, like, read that. I don't know if I was backwards, isn't it? It basically says...
Bad word.
It basically says, I saw bad news, F up. They've got the tour dates there. We have a sneeze in the background, ignore that, it's fine.
That's the mixture from outside of hay fever.
Hay fever.
Torture, isn't it?
Torture. That's an XL. The tag is pretty much worn out. Once again, single stitch.
What it is?
I'm explaining now. And single stitch. So basically, Bad News were like a parody band, fictional if you will, by the guys who did The Young Ones and Bottom, Rick Mail, Ada Edmondson, and they're the couple of people from The Young Ones too. And it worked out so well that they were so popular on TV on one of the programs, which I forget the name of right now. Someone can put in the comments. In the 80s, that they actually managed to get on some tours. They did
Ozzy Osbourne tour.
They did a tour with Ozzy Osbourne. I think I can't remember the name of the bands. There was basically a massive multi kind of rock tour in the UK, and they managed to get on that tour with all of them. And if you go on YouTube, there's footage of them, Ozzy Osbourne slating these guys like in a kind of comedy way. Anyway, so this is like super rare, probably as rare as some of the shirts. One of the rarest shirts we have.
For example, there are no comps.
If you see this shirt, you'll find 10 on eBay, which are kind of like the retros or the kind of new versions of this. What's really cool is I haven't seen yet, with this specific, the UK gig list, I've not seen an authentic original one, which is quite exciting really. I say that just for cost and what we can comp it out as. That, I would say, is probably one of the rarest. Once again, as Bethany said, this one has a hole, for example. Don't let it bother you in the slightest. It doesn't take away from the shirt. In actual fact, for me, it adds a little bit to it.
Well, there aren't any else, listed or whatever. Whether it's got a hole or not is completely irrelevant. How much do you list that for, Austin?
Do you know what? I reckon, I don't know. I can't remember how much I listed for. I think between 400 and 600. I can't remember off the top of my head. 400
and 600. I'll put the list.
And I say that because on different platforms, I'll put at different prices dependent on the...
I'll show you this one.
What am I saying?
Oh no, it's a copy.
Dependent on the percentage charged by the company we're selling with. So this is the Scorpions. It looks grey. It's actually black. Like these guys would have been, their clothing and stuff would have been black. That's actually grey. This is the Scorpions, and it is Love at First Sting.
Tell them, not me.
Love at First Sting, not her, them, you. Love at First Sting. The back's really cool as well. World Tour 1984. Once again, if you notice most of these, which is really cool, is although it's a world tour, these dates are all in Europe. or at the time if you're in Europe, if anything's changed you can correct me, but they are, yeah. So once again, although it was a world tour, this t-shirt is actually from the European leg, so it differs again price wise. Like I say, if it's the European leg, sometimes it makes it higher values depending on how many they sold, sometimes it make a lower value. You can check that out, but you have to check on these details, because one of the shirts, I think even the color of the font, exact same shirt, but like obviously we've done maybe the last couple of evenings before after. Not at all, no, it's actually really distracting. But those little things make a big difference in cost.
Did you ask me? This is
200,
not pounds.
Okay, this one.
No, we're not doing that one.
Okay.
What's wrong with you? No, we're not doing that one.
So do that one then.
Right, these are the 3 best ones.
These are the 3 best ones out of the lot. Once again, these cost how much?
£3.75.
This is Bethany's keeping this one.
Keeping this, obviously.
It's Ozzy Osbourne on kind of single. What do you call it? What do you call it? You leave a band. He left Black Sabbath at this point.
No, he didn't leave Black Sabbath at this point. He was just having a solo moment.
Solo, that's what I was looking for. Right, okay. So this one is from 1980. It says by there, but we can't read.
It's 1984. This one, 1984.
The year of my birth.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You old.
I'm real old. This I think as well is Germany. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah, of course you can. Sorry.
We're looking up compilations for this one. It's not compilations at all. I don't know why I said
comparisons,
that.
but
we're
yeah,
looking at comparisons for this one. Obviously, there are a lot of repros, but there are a lot of not a lot. I use that very loosely. The ones equivalent of I could find were sleeved. However, this hasn't been manufactured as a vest. It's not a cut-off job, although that would be so cool. It is a manufactured vest, whereas the others were sleeved. I just love the graphic.
Yep.
The fact that this used to be black and now it's grey, and that you still got full colour of the graphic.
I think that's quite strange, because I don't think that'd happen with print nowadays. I think the print would go like this yellow would be well gone before the black.
Isn't that so sick? I'm a big fan of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that's really cool. And Ozzy Osbourne, you love Ozzy Osbourne too, don't you?
Yeah. To be honest, I was like the generation of the Osbournes, when it came on MTV, and it was obviously all about Kelly at the time, because they were trying to obviously launch her career, but it was the first time reality TV was properly introduced to MTV, but it was also the first time a non-traditional, I think it came out about the same time as when they were doing Hugh Hefner Playboy,
the Playboy
reality
Mansion
show, and all you were seeing were like tall blonde women with like great bodies, and then the Osbournes came on, and I was just like, oh, I found my people. Anyway, so
that was definitely you.
So I think this is special for me.
It's lovely.
These go for about 400 in this condition, but obviously it's valueless to me. Austin collects vintage wrestling t-shirts.
If you have any, get at me in the comments.
And do you know what you can never find for reasonable prices? Vintage band t-shirts.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because of people like us, sorry to interrupt you, but because of people like us and you, hopefully, who resell things to make their living, their money, whatever, that's what we do. What's lucky is this costs us £3 or £4. Bethany can keep it and enjoy it, and that's I would say. If any of you guys truthfully love these bands and are interested in picking one of these up, we would give you guys, we'll give you guys a deal. It won't be costing what we're saying it was what we would sell for. By all means, let us know, because I also do appreciate collectors. And if you're just going to buy it to resell, so be it. That's what we all do. That's fine.
Every concert I went to growing up, my dad's got a record shop. He's not Brum reseller, just to clarify. He's got a record shop, and every concert I went to growing up, I done Mott the Hoople. We done Mott the Hooples are.
Random Slade,
Steve Harley and the Cockney Rebel, The Sweet, Mud.
We've done loads, cool, old school acts, if you will. We've done new stuff as well.
Lulu as well. Anyway, but I always buy a t-shirt, because you always have to buy a t-shirt, because
you never know
how.
And once again, although these are different from different eras, the chap who had them, he said he spent a lot of time
they're quite
traveling.
Similar. It's all 80s though.
Yeah, apart from some of the stuff, maybe in a minute. So this one.
Oh, only slightly.
So this one is my favourite, and I've been told I can't keep it. No, I haven't been told I can't keep it at all.
Do you know what?
But I would love to keep it because of what it is. Look at it.
I just got a thing about Iron Maiden t-shirts. No, because they've been so reproduced, I just find them so boring.
It makes me smile, even just looking at it in the camera. It makes me smile because this is one of the t-shirts that is reproed and reproed and reproed. Yeah,
that's why I'm trying to look at everything.
And even in this kind of grey colour, like I say, people like Urban Outfitters, they make these t-shirts. But just can I show some close-ups? Or you can show some close-ups of the tag, the sleeves. That's why I said I would show the
This is the tag. This is the single stitch.
Now show the back.
I don't want to show you the back yet. There's a single stitch hem too, and then the back is the 1984-85 World Slavery Tour. However, this is a little special number.
There's two reasons it's special. One is because it is a European tour. Once again, I know I keep saying that, but the world tour is like £100-200 worth less, not worth that much.
They just produce
less,
more.
and they produce more. These are worth more. However, there are two variations of this shirt. There is one with 5 Hammersmith dates. This one has 4. Depending on which one you're looking out for, one is worth more, one is worth less. Only by maybe, I don't know, a few pound, but it's more the collectors and there's less of them.
It's actually, we say that,
this,
but find this.
I was just going to say, at this stage, like with that kind of detail, although there is a difference, a little bit different in money, you're still talking multiple hundreds for the shirt anyway. So it's not like, oh, I've got this one, like find it, it's amazing.
There's one that's just got like a snake on it. Is that the world tour?
That's the world tour. You'll see a lot.
It's got a snake on the back.
It's got, yeah, this snake here.
Yeah, on the back.
It's kind of just curled up right round.
We were,
and that's.
We were chatting briefly to a collector, t-shirt guys, and he's got one, and he's been offered 9 and turned it down. 900.
He's a slightly larger size, which once again is a little bit more usable. But at this stage, most of these t-shirts, unless you're like a stylist for someone who has a huge amount of money, honestly, these were kind of more just kind of either fold it or put it in a frame or do something with it as regards collecting. Now there are people that wear them, and fair play to you, but for me, like it's just a cool piece. And what's really cool is, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not, but the colours they still pop.
That's what I was saying about that. Ozzy Osbourne.
It's amazing. It just amazes me that, like, I don't think Prince, like, in how old's this? Just
1984.
84. So as old as me, 38 years now. 38. Yeah. So I don't think some of the t-shirts I'm buying, printed shirts now, will in 38 years time will look like that. I just don't think they will.
Anyway, what were you listing it for? £3.75 paid.
I want £1,000.
I want £1,000. Yeah, £1,000.
You know, and it's worth that.
With £1,000.
With a it's a £1,000 t-shirt.
This is my non-Ozzy Osbourne favourite.
Okay,
can I
cool.
talk about this?
Of course you can.
Thank you. So this is just.
We'll take off, just to clarify, we'll take off as around like less than that, but that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So this is
so special.
This is.
So we go back and hold it.
1991, 1992. Is the Malcolm? We say Malcolm X. It's Malcolm X
movie.
It's the film.
Yep.
Malcolm X with who's in it? Edward Norton. Yeah, that's Malcolm X. No, that's American. That's
American History X. That's a totally different movie. That's a whole racist kind of situation right there. That's such a like a, yeah, like no. What you're talking about is American History X, and there's a big X on here, so I understand where you're coming from. It's a totally different movie. This is with obviously the history of Malcolm X. I can't remember who plays Malcolm X. I've been blank. Anyway, it was directed by
Spike Lee, and if anyone knows Spike Lee, he sits front row at every New York Knicks game ever in like full thing.
He's the geezer who has a hat like this, and he has glasses, which you'll know like from all the Nike ads.
But he's also done Jordan. He's done the Spike.
Yeah.
The Spike, what's it called?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Spikies, like as in Nike, but Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And they're a kind of variation on Jordans where they put like a Jordan 4 and a Jordan 5 and mix match the soles and the pieces and the components, and that's him. That's like he's got a massive.
So he has a film company called 40 Acres and a Mule. 40 Acres and a Mule, and it's also on the sleeve there as well. Who obviously was the production company of this. If you find a t-shirt with just the 40 Acres and a Mule logo on, a t-shirt, you're looking at $450. If you find a t-shirt with just this on, you're looking at $500.
This is long sleeve.
If you find a long sleeve with all the relevant taggage, and it's on a roots tag with Delaware, like it's also a size large, and on the back.
Assalamu alaikum. Obviously very popular.
You're looking at minimum
for that film.
Minimum 600.
Yeah. Like I don't really know what else to say.
Quick maths. That's a.
This
that's
once
a
again
4
is
gram pile.
That's a large. Across the board, you might be watching this video if you don't really have any knowledge of vintage, and I say that like I'm the biggest vintage ever. I have been doing vintage for like a long time. As much as we don't talk about. I am vintage.
I'm a vintage, yeah, sort of.
It's something I do because I enjoy and because I am older. That I enjoy these kind of style of t-shirts and these kind of prints and how they look and so on. I'm not trying to come across like I'm the biggest. I know everything about vintage, but I like to think I'm pretty good. Once again, due to what I collect and what I don't collect, this t-shirt I would say out of the whole, apart from like. This is so niche. This is so niche. This is kind of like something like if you know round two, like you said, rally roots. Because of the era, like 91, 92. This is kind of when I was like younger. Whereas this, like, I was being born when this tour was going on. It's just as much I know the iconography of that shirt. It's very different for me personally.
This is the best, like, all pieces together from one person. Vintage bundle that we found, like vintage t-shirt bundle that we found.
For sure.
Ever. We paid £45 for everything. Bear in mind the hat itself was £10, and the last t-shirt that we shown, this was £5 on its own. He wanted £5 for this one. So we paid £45 altogether. So
including the hat. The hat was
if
10.
You take the hat out, you take this out. It's £35 for the t-shirt, so it works out about £3.75.
Yeah, there is. You're right.
It's £3.75 per t-shirt, and I will put what we value or what we expect to get back thereabouts down below, but it will be 4 figures.
Once again, I know like that we on this channel we kind of talk about what we do and what we enjoy and what you're trying to give a little bit of information, but also like. If we don't know something, for example, like I said quite openly, I don't know which shirt it was now, like the UFO, I know of UFO, I know the music or UFO. As regards like band history, like I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to say I know this, I know this, I know that. So I think sometimes if you're talking about the t-shirts, like you don't have to know everything about those bands, you don't have to know everything about the tours. That's why we use Google, and anyone I could stand you and have Google all this once again and said I know this, I know, like no need for it. The truth of the matter is they can all be kind of researched. Do your research, but research multiple platforms, research multiple areas, even forums. Like,
are great.
Don't be scared. But if you find a cool t-shirt and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be had over, or I don't want someone to kind of like take me on, or charge or take it for too little, go on a forum. And there are vintage band forums. There are band forums themselves. Maybe people who have been into this band for years, maybe went to that tour. You can find out information so many places nowadays. I know what I'm saying, you're looking at me going off because it's very boring, but I do think it's important that we keep, like, as a community, people are constantly talking about, oh, I have enough sales, or I'm gonna let this go, I'm gonna kind of undercut this guy, and no one says that like so much openly, but if you're seeing a comp here and you go here just to sell it before that person, like when you come to sell another one, that's been done 10 times. All of a sudden, the £50 item's $14.99, including shipping. What's the point? You like, it's not just a quick sale.
That doesn't really apply to this kind of thing because this kind of thing is very highly collected market.
I happen to think these will go fast. What I'm saying is, though, if you were to find that and had no idea what that was and just thought it was a cool 1992 vintage shirt from the movie Malcolm X and hadn't done your research, it goes for £50 and instantly makes this instantly from a buyer's point of view. I saw one go for £50. It just changes the whole situation for all the wrong reasons. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Obviously, there's no book to say this t-shirt is vintage if it has single stitched, if it has this label, if it's this label. There are many people reprinting onto vintage t-shirts, for example. So we can give you helpful tips that may help when you're out in the wild, and that's the best we can do.
That's a really good point.
And the rest you have to fill in with your knowledge.
No, that's a really good point. Just in closing, what Bethany said is, and what she's getting at is, if you had this old t-shirt, which was from 80s, 70s, whatever, and then because the tag is old, the t-shirt's old, and then you print, I've seen literally fresh prints, and even people try and wear the prints. Now, if I'm honest, they're few and far between, but it happens, and a lot of the people selling top dollar online, some of the kind of fraudulent people, they do that every now and then and pop one into the collection. However, when you're buying a collection like this and you pay so little, there's so little for that chap to gain. And also, if you have the knowledge and kind of you're aware of how things fade. But once again, don't be shy about picking them up. Don't be put off by that. If you're paying £3 for a shirt, what have you got to lose?
£3.
And that's not a lot in our game, is it?
Thank you for watching.
Enjoy.
Something different for your watching. It won't be for everyone. If you're a women's clothes seller, you might not find this relevant. If you're into games, you might find it relevant because of the culture, you know.
Hang on a minute. If you're in a charity shop or a boot sale, it should be relevant to anyone, I would guess.
Yeah, but if you're really like specialist, I only look at women's. I only look at the toy section. I only look at shoes. You might not
move yourself over to the other section and you know.
I mean, it's good to learn and it's good to expand.
That's what I was looking for. I know you are. And Bethany's right, 100%.
I'm always right.
always
100%.
like, but that's not a question. Like, she is right. It's not are you, aren't you? Anyway,
You'll probably see the thumbnail of Austin gracefully laying on the floor, majestically.
don't all crowd at once, folks. Don't all crowd at
No.
once. That's it. Goodbye.
Thank you.